Hello everyone and welcome back to another video on the Skull Crane Entertainment YouTube channel. I'm excited to get in the mix of the haunters that are doing their videos on the Halloween and Party Expo. Overall, the expo was a little bit of a letdown. There was not many interesting booths as I had hoped and that you get to see in the actual in-person Halloween Party Expo, but unfortunately due to the pandemic it could not happen this year. But I'm really excited for these animatronics that were released by Morris Costumes. So we're going to get right into it. Thank you guys so much for tuning in today, and I hope you enjoyed this video, and if you do, please like this video. I greatly appreciate it. Leave a comment down below which one of these are your favorite of the brand new and newly released Morris Costumes animatronics. But without further ado, let's get right into it. Let's start off with the Cellar Dweller, the tallest of the bunch of new animatronics from SVI. So this one is very cool, and I love its movement set. However, I do feel it has a very missed opportunity, and that's the lurching. If you recognize this movement set, it's because this is pulled from the 2014 Lurching Zombie, and I really liked that animatronic because of how unique the movement was, and it was a really tall lurcher. Typically, the lurching animatronics are no taller than 6 feet, but to see a 7-foot model would have been amazing. Now, unfortunately, we didn't get that here. It keeps the arm movement, the very robotic-like movement, which I do like. It also keeps that really nice and fluent mouth movement, and then the very creepy light-up eyes, which I think are actually amazing. I think they did a great job with these eyes, and overall the head sculpt is great. Now, the outfit does appear to be a little bit generic. I do think the green and gray gauze fit the character well, but I feel like there was missed an opportunity there to sort of give him a really nasty look instead of just some gauze. Now, I do know that this animatronic, like all of these, are not intended to look real, but I think that they could have done a little bit better with the cosmetics. Overall, though, a great character. I don't mind his vocals, but the vast majority of people would have preferred scary sound effects, and honestly, with a really loud speaker, like a lot of the new SVI animatronics have, I think some really creepy moaning and groaning would have been so much better. Even though I am personally a fan of the talking props, I think it gives them character, and sort of when people walk by my haunted display, they always stop and listen to the character speak. I think it gives a little more entertainment value, although I do like how some of the Pan-Asian Creations props have that little toggle switch where you can change between modes. Forgotten Farmer, for example, from Spirit Halloween, you could switch between vocal and moaning mode, or I guess you could say sound effect mode. So overall, great animatronic, but not one that I would necessarily say go out and buy unless you are pulling off a swamp slash sewer theme. This would go great with the sewer varmint from Spirit Halloween from 2020. Let's have a look at Cotton Candice. So this is a fun one for sure. Now, personally, this is my least favorite on the list by far. And the reason I say that is because Cotton Candice is just an overall just throw everything together animatronic. What I mean by this is that it's a mosh posh. The doll is from all the towering props. The audio is overused insanely. This audio needs to be just thrown out. Seasonal should just throw out this audio and never use it again. It has been overused. Every single of the playground props has used this audio, and here's the problem. This prop on its own, I don't think it's remotely good, and here's why. If you're doing a haunted display with reapers and witches, what's the point of having this there? Now, this would be a great scene setter, similar to the sewer varmint or Mommy's Favorite from Spirit Halloween in 2020, because on their own, they're not very cool props, but if you're using them in a display, they could piece it together. This one, I think, is one of those. I think in a display, it gives you some atmosphere, but the problem is that the audio is going to blend in with the only consumer basis it has. If someone is doing a sort of playground or carnival theme, they're probably going to have the rocking elephant clown, which is awesome, and I have that on my web store, Skull Crane Animatronics. But I feel like when you use the same audio from the target demographic of where you're going at, you're just going to kill your market. I don't think this is going to be a good seller at all. I think this is going to be a very tough sell for wholesalers, unless it's some ridiculously inexpensive prop, which I'm going to be honest, I don't think it will be. It's not going to sell well, and I think overall this is the worst on the list, simply because it's just not, it looks, it's a cool concept. The girl is just overused, and same with the audio, and that's what kills, because those are the two main premises of what could make this prop really cool. I love the movement. I think that the box and the cotton candy, it all looks really good. But overall, it just looks thrown together, and I don't like the overused feel of the whole character and sound. But that's just my opinion. You'll have to let me know what you think.
Place in town
Up next, let's
right
have a look at the
here.
Little Top Clown, the companion to the Big Top Clown, which you can find on Skull Crane
Do
Animatronics.
like
Now,
the circus,
this
don't
one
you?
is,
You
in my
better like
opinion,
clowns
probably one of
otherwise.
the
I might-
less
I
cool
might
of the
just
smaller
go
animatronics, and you're going to see the other
crazy.
3 that they released so
Who
far.
wants to
These
play a
remind me of
funny
the
little
Pan-Asian
trick
Creations
tonight?
characters that were being released at
Jokesters
CVS and
are
a
all
couple other
welcome
retailers like
here. I
Kmart
might
when they
have a
were
trick
around, and
for you, so you
Walgreens.
better not turn your
Those
back
were
on
really
me.
cool because they were sort of unique at the time. 3-foot characters weren't being
You're
done too
frightened
much.
of
But
clowns,
these
are you?
feel like they're just trying to
We
play
think
into the
everything is
Pan-Asian,
funny, even
I
your
guess,
fear
character
of
set. They have
us.
the same amount of movement, mouth
So go
movement,
ahead
and the
and be
arm movement with
scared.
the
I
head.
could
Now, I
use a
do
good
prefer
laugh.
this sort of out and in movement compared to the Pan-Asian sort of rocking movement. But the problem is that these
Step
simply
right up,
plagiarize
kiddies.
their
We've
life-size
got the
counterparts. And the reason I say
craziest
plagiarize
place
is
in
because
town
they're just
right
direct
here.
copies. It's not even like they went and made an attempt to make these different. Now, if the colors were changed and the
do
audio
like
was
the
changed,
circus,
but they were
don't
still
you?
marketed as like mini
You better
counterparts, then
like
I could see these being
clowns,
great to have
otherwise,
with the character. I own
I
the Big
might
Top
just
Clown, and
go
if I had this guy, it'd be kind of
crazy.
cool to have them together. But the problem is
Who
that they
wants
use the
to
same
play a
audio.
funny
Again,
little
with the
trick
kill your
tonight?
demographic sort of standpoint.
Jokesters are
Most people
all
that are buying
welcome
these are going to
here.
be putting these
I
with their
might
other
have a
characters,
trick
or maybe
for
even
you,
putting
so
them with
you
the character
better
they already
not turn
have.
your
But the
back
problem is
on
that
me.
when you use the same exact costume and same audio,
You
it does not
aren't
look right.
frightened of
Now,
clowns, are
I
you?
think his cosmetics are
We
great,
think
but I think he's
everything
best
is
suited for the
funny,
Big Top
even
Clown.
your
Also,
fear
the
of
mouth
us.
movement, while it is good,
So
I
go
think a
ahead and
latex
be
mask would have
scared.
helped
I
this one a
could
lot more
use a
than the
good
sort of
laugh.
robotic-looking mouth movement it does have. Now, not my least favorite of the list, and not my least favorite of the smaller
Step
ones
right
either,
up,
but
kiddies.
definitely
We've got the
very many missed
craziest place in
opportunities to
town
make this a
right
good companion
here.
character. So with that said, that is my opinion on the Little
You
Top Clown,
do
although I
like
do
the
love the
circus,
name.
don't
That's
you?
probably the best part
You
of
better
this
like
character.
clowns.
Here, now a
Let's have a
spell
look
to
at the
remove
Fortune
that
Teller Witch,
smile
another
from your
one of
pretty
the
face.
smaller mini characters.
Puggles
Now
and
this one is
Haggadah
probably my
and
least favorite of the
eyes
bunch
a
just
crow.
because, well, I think
All
the orb is
power
very
all
cool,
mine
and I think
now,
she's very,
and
very
all
neat.
that you know.
Witches to be really
Double,
scary
double,
need to be
toil
tall,
and
and the
trouble.
problem is that she's
Fire
3 feet tall.
burn
The
and
same goes for all
cauldron
these
bubble.
characters,
Around
but I just
about
don't
the
think that this one
cauldron
really
go.
works.
In the poison
It's too
and
small, and
trails
maybe if it were 4 feet, you
Sweltered
could sort of
venom,
get
sleeping
the sort of
guts, boil thou
smaller
first the charmed
woman vibe,
pot.
because there are some very short women out there, but 3 feet is just too much of a
my
stretch,
next
and I don't think this is
ingredient
going to
has
work.
arrived.
The movement on
With
this
you,
one,
my
more
spell
so the mouth
no
movement, is probably the
longer
worst of the
deprived.
bunch. The
Your
mouth movement
youth
looks like
and
it's a little
flesh,
sticky,
the only
even though it's
price
moving
to
and it's fine. I'd rather
ensure
have it
me
move
of
than not. It's not the best of the mouth
eternal
movement, but overall, it's just an unnecessary release, and hopefully these characters aren't too much money if they are released, even though I personally don't think they're actually going to make it to market, just because I don't see these selling too well.
Another foolish
If
child
these start
dares to
retailing
trespass
for
on this
around what
wicked
the
place.
Pan-Asians ones were
Here,
selling
now
for,
a
then that's
spell to
awesome, and
remove
if they
that
have metal
smile
construct
from
and if
your
they have
pretty
compatibility,
face.
I think these being a
Puggles
hit,
and
especially with the
Haggadah
word
and
of spawn
eyes of a
getting
crow.
haunters and have
All
little
power is all
capacity to
mine
store
now,
these.
and
But
all that you
overall,
know.
I find it that these are going to be
Double,
expensive. I feel like these are
toil
going to be
and
at
trouble.
least 3
Fire
digits, and the problem is
burn
that
and
it's just not
cauldron
marketable.
bubble. Around
They're
about
not
the
going
cauldron
to
go.
make me
In
want to
the
buy these.
poison
If anything,
and
they're going to make me
trails
want to buy the
throw.
larger characters
Sweltered
more.
venom,
The
sleeping
only marketing
guts,
standpoint I
boil
see with
thou
these is
first the
maybe
charmed
seasonal
pot.
saying, hey, let's see if we can create a collectible set and have like a
I
collectible
see, my
line of
next
3-foot characters.
ingredient has
I'm not a big
arrived.
fan of
With
that.
you, my spell no
The odds of me
longer
collecting the set
deprived.
is
Your
limited,
youth
just
and
because I don't
flesh,
see these
the
being really
only
sought
price
after. I like
to
collecting stuff that I
ensure
think is
me
really
of
rare and
eternal
cool. But these
life.
guys, even if they may become rare, I don't know if they're going to become these really sought after pieces where people are going on eBay just to find these and spend hundreds of dollars on them. So, in my opinion, the 36-inch Fortune Teller Witch,
Another
it
foolish
could work,
child
but
dares
again,
to
it's just
trespass
a
on this
ripoff
wicked
of its
place.
life-size
Here,
counterpart.
now a
You're much
spell
better
to
off spending
remove
extra
that
money for.
smile.
Let's have a look at the Hooded Phantom, another one of the tall characters on the list. And overall, when this concept first came out, or I guess the stock images rather, people were really raving about this one, and I never really understood why. Some people were making links to the Harry Potter franchise, and I don't see that, and overall, this character, in my opinion, is probably the least... I mean, it just doesn't have anything going for it. It's 3 LED lights on a tablecloth, and I hate to be the nitty-gritty picky person, but overall this is probably one of my least favorites on this list. Now it is not as bad as Cotton Candice, because I could actually see myself using this. I'd rather have this than Cotton Candice, but overall I just don't see him being that really good of a seller, just because it doesn't do anything really interesting, and it's just literally a tablecloth with 3 green LED lights. And I mean, look at it, it doesn't have anything going for it. I don't see any uniqueness. It has no character. The audio is reused from the evil entity, which was a great prop, but this one I just don't see being a good seller. The movement is too slow in my opinion as well, and overall I think maybe some moaning sounds or like some ghost sounds would have worked well with this character. Now I do like the tall props a lot, and I do like the movement once again, but overall I don't see myself ever using this, and I think it takes up too much space to just not have anything really, really neat. It reminds me of the Nightmare Harvester just because of sort of the voice and the slur and the audio, and I guess overall the appearance, but the Nightmare Harvester had a very nice character and really, really looked creepy. This one I just feel like doesn't do anything interesting. It doesn't even move up and down. If it sort of floated a little bit, I feel like that might have made it seem like, oh, it's a ghost, and it had a lot of really creepy features, but I don't see that with this character, and overall, the Hooded Phantom is probably my second least favorite on the list. Let me know your thoughts on this one in the comments. Now, let's round out the list with these final 2 of the 36-inch characters, and here is the Scarecrow, my second favorite of the bunch. Now, this one doesn't have a direct counterpart in the life-size field. Now, there are some that are very similar to him and use his audio, but overall, this one is probably the most unique of the bunch, and I really, really like his eyes and his face sculpt and the movement, but the problem is that the audio makes no sense for this character. He talks about his children, but the problem is he's 3 feet tall. Now, if they would have marketed this like Little Nestor and maybe given him some more childish audio, I think that would have been so much better, because it could have been like a little baby or child Scarecrow, which on paper sounds kind of foolish, but overall, we've got an excellent face sculpt and excellent overall cosmetic appearance. In fact, I think this is the best of the cosmetics for these characters, and I really, really like it. Now, would I purchase this one again? It would depend on the pricing. If it's around the $50 range, which again I don't believe it'll be, I probably would buy this just to have in my collection. I think it'd be a little cool scene setter, especially if you don't own the life-size versions of these characters, but it just doesn't do anything for me to make me say, wow, that's amazing, and I don't think it changes the game in any way. It's a cool character, and if you like it, go for it. I think it's great. I think if you like Scarecrows and have a big Scarecrow / barn theme, put him on a hay bale, and he would be a pretty cool character to have in your display. And now time for my favorite on the list. It is the Vintage Doll animatronic. Now this one, let's start off with the basics. It's a 3-foot doll, but that helps this character. Dolls should be in the 3-foot range, but overall they did an amazing job with this. The arm movement is very unique to this character. We haven't seen that on doll animatronics before. The mouth movement and head movement are perfect, and this is the best animatronic doll I have ever seen. Now, this reminds me of the prototype wind-up doll that I almost had the chance to purchase because it has the same exact audio as that one. Now, this audio is finally getting a chance to make it to market, and I'm hoping this one is released because this is what I definitely want to get. Now, I am doing a cave display in my haunt this year, but I would love to incorporate her somehow. I just finished my set of the Lunging Lily and the Peekaboo Penny and the Broken Spine Girl, and I feel like I could throw her in there somehow, maybe at the end of the 3, and she would just fit in with the aesthetic really well. Overall, amazing appearance. The outfit is perfect, and this is the best of the list, again, by far, in my opinion. You'll have to let me know in the comments below what you think of this one. But thank you so much for watching this video. I hope you guys enjoyed. This was one of my more professional videos. I took the time to individually record each snippet, and I hope you liked it. If you did, please like this video and visit my website skullcrane.com, where you can find tons of new animatronics that have just landed and a special reward for you guys. Use code YouTube10 for 10% off your order and free shipping on $99 plus. Thanks again for watching, and as always, from Skull Crane Entertainment, happy haunting.